Oh, yeah, opening statement.
Just a reminder, if you could please silence your cell phones. Coach will begin with a brief opening statement, and then we'll go to questions. If you have a question, please raise your hand. Coach, whenever you're ready.
Well, obviously, we're getting ready for the Pitt Panthers. Disappointed about the last contest, excited about the new one. Once again, get an opportunity to play one of our rivals. We've got a lot of work to do. We're working hard. Did a lot of practicing over the weekend, and we're looking forward to the game on Friday night. Questions? Mark.
In a different spot. You had a lot of conversations from what I saw with Tommy after the game, during the game last Thursday. Is there one thing you're telling him? Is there one hurdle that he still hasn't cleared and that you'd like to see him clear in the second half of the season?
I don't think it's necessarily that. The things that I tell him in those situations is kind of like, you want immediate feedback on certain situations because you want to be able to put a picture in his head that he doesn't forget. So whether it's a particular play, a particular defense, a particular coverage, maybe something that a DB saw, something a DB did that's really unique. When I grabbed him on the sidelines, did you see this right here? I did. What did you think that was? This is what I thought it was. You're exactly right, or you're wrong. It's this. Remember that picture. This is how you got to remember that picture. And that's the things that you're going to have to do to give him the foundation so that he can be able to do it all when that comes, whether that's the end of this year, next year. You got to keep putting those memories and those pictures in his head so he'll have stuff to reflect back on.
Just to follow up, he's not throwing the interceptions he was in the first 3 games of the year. So that's a positive, but is he maybe not taking enough chances now, or how do you see that developing?
I think that he's got to be careful now. He's got to be careful. I think that he's throwing for a very high percentage and obviously not throwing the interceptions, which we're really excited about. But the thing that, and this is not directed to Tommy, this is any quarterback that I've had, just like the one that played Monday night, I believe, that was playing. It's a racing car. You want it to be a racing car. You don't want it to be a car that you drive around town. And you want them to be very, very aggressive, not necessarily reckless, but very, very aggressive. But they have to do it in the confines of the offense. And the offense is geared towards, this is not at Tommy DeVito. This is our offense I'm talking about. Our offense is geared to be really aggressive, so we really don't need the quarterback to be super aggressive. But he does need to, when we have our opportunities and we have our shots, he needs to be willing to take them. And I think he is willing to take them. We just need to do a better job in other areas and giving him opportunities.
Steve?
So throughout camp, you talked about the 2019 team being different from the 2018 team. And I think talking to guys and going around the program, it's for a bunch of college kids, you can understand how expectations would be high after a 10-win season. Obviously, things haven't gone exactly how you planned through the first 6 games. Like, what's your feel for the locker room? Where are those guys? Are they able to recalibrate from kind of everything they hoped this would be?
That's going to be the fun part. That's the part that, we're 3-3. We're not where we want to be. We're not happy where we're at. Now what? And again, that's what's going to define this season. It's going to define this team. It's going to define this bunch of seniors. And I'm excited about that. Okay, I'm not happy with how things have gone, but now that all that stuff is behind us, and there's no more rose-colored glasses here, this is what we are. Look, this is what we are. It's game 6. Okay? Now, get better.
Other questions? Yeah, right.
There were a lot of questions going through the season with the linebackers obviously replacing 2 starters. What have you seen from Andrew Armstrong and Keem Williams in terms of their development individually as well as within the defense so far?
And they've developed quite well when you start thinking about from the second game to what they're doing right now. They have developed extremely well. The play that Armstrong made with the interception during the game was a high-quality play. And Lakeem as well made numerous plays that were really good. The one touchdown that was scored in the game, I believe on their part, was just one of those situations where they caught us in the right thing at the right time, at the right situation. And it was a good call, a good execution touchdown. But outside of that play, I thought they played at an extremely high level. I thought the entire defense played really, really well.
Yeah, go ahead, Andrew.
I remember a couple weeks ago we touched on Tristan Jackson, sort of him being you weren't quite ready to say he was maybe the number one receiver in this offense. I was doing a little light counting this morning. He's been getting at least a majority of the target share among the receivers. I guess how have you sort of seen his role in this offense play out, sort of the balance of targets and receptions, and is that something that you like where it's at, or you want to see it change in some way?
I don't look at it that way because, like I said, some of that stuff comes down to what's the blitz, what's the coverage, what's the call. And you can call one receiver as the number one guy on a certain play. They play a certain coverage. He goes from number 1 to number 4 just based off what the coverage is. And with the success that Tristan's had, I wouldn't be surprised that he starts getting some double coverage down the road, which means that somebody else better be ready to step up. So I don't look at it that way. I just look at it that he started off so far. He's having a good season, a good first half, and hopefully he can have an opportunity to have a better second half.
Yeah, Matt.
Pittsburgh's the one team in this conference that, Syracuse has had probably the most history with dating back to the previous conference. Tell me what makes this game so competitive each and every year. I know you guys and Coach Narduzzi fighting over the same recruits in the Northeast, and just seems like this is, as you were saying earlier, a rivalry game.
I think this is past Coach Narduzzi, past myself. I think it goes back to you growing up and a bunch of the people in the room. It's just a rivalry. Before I came, I wouldn't be able to tell you why it's going to be a close game. And then you look at the games that we've had, and every last one of them has been a memory. I can remember every game that we played against those guys. And it's just interesting that the two groups get together, and it doesn't matter what the record is. It's normally one heck of a football game, and normally close. Overtime, 12-point game that was crazy the first time, the win by us. And I want to say maybe it was a 3-point win or something like that. You guys probably got the details on it. And now this is round number 4 back at our place. And, those guys are favored, and rightfully so. And we know we're going to have our hands full. It's going to be a contest.
Do you think that rivalry factor is what makes a lot of those games really close, or is there something specific about it that makes them particularly a difficult opponent every year?
I think it's the first part. I think it's the rivalry. They've changed quite a bit from what they're traditionally being, with Coach Whipple being their offensive coordinator. They're not as much run. I mean, they're in spread sets. They're doing a lot more stuff. Their defense is bringing a heck of a lot more pressure than traditionally they've normally done. And it's almost like they've flipped the page and they've gone off and moved on to something else. But I just think it's the rivalry. I think it's a lot of the same recruits. I think it's a lot of the kids being from the same area, a lot of the kids playing against guys in high school and having an opportunity to have one more shot at them.
Mark? We've been talking a lot about the offensive line, and I don't know what you thought about their performance last Thursday, but until guys come back and get healthy, is this kind of what we can expect that group to do?
I hope it's not what we expect. The one thing that we need to do, I've talked to you guys about game 4 to 6, we're going to find out where we're at. We're at game 6, okay? We know where we're at. And I think the big thing here is this. Everybody has a responsibility to get better. This is not throwing any O-line or anybody. This is the entire football team, coaches included. Everybody has a responsibility to get better. And you're not allowed to stay the same. And so what does that mean? Well, when you start off as whatever, and I don't like saying that word, excuse me, WE, excuse my language. If you start off as a sophomore that's never played, after 6 games, you're not a sophomore anymore. You're a salty guy getting ready to go into his junior year. If you've played 6 games as a freshman, even though you're still a freshman, 6 games as a freshman, your play should be improved based off of how much you've been on the field. We need to get better. And what normally happens with football teams at this stage of the game is that everyone looks at their young players. Well, your young players should be developing, but you have to lean on your older players. So my thing is, we need our older players. Our best players have to be our best players. They have to play well. And then the other guys are just coming, okay? The little brothers are just coming. The big brothers, they have to play well. And I think that's where the emphasis is. The big emphasis is going back and making sure we're getting the production out of the people that should really be producing for us because they've had a lot of game experience.
Steve?
Where are you on the injury front? Anyone who might be back for good?
No, I don't know any. I'm not even making this up. I don't know what's going on with that stuff. So I would imagine it's exactly the same.
How close was Cisco to playing? He's the one guy who tracked.
I would not say it's going to change. Because every time I come up here and I think it's going to change, it hasn't changed.
Fair enough.
So I'm sitting here going, I'm not going to, it hasn't changed yet.
Was there a chance for him to play in Cincy State, or did you want to get something else out of him being there?
Something else.
Okay.
Yeah, in the middle.
Pittsburgh's defensive line is probably their strength on their team. What concerns do you have with that unit?
They get a lot of sacks. They bring a lot of pressure. They blitz and blitz and blitz. And they're crazy about it. They're fun to watch. It's how the game should be played. They're very, very reckless, even though they're controlled about it. I mean, as a fan, there's going to be some contact. There's going to be some smacking going around. There's no doubt about it. So they're fun to watch. They're a good group.
Time for a couple more questions? Steve?
So after the NC State game, you thought Taj got dinged. What kind of happened with him? I don't know if you got a chance to talk to him about it.
I did. It's still, again, it was an injury. I don't want, there's some stuff that's come out in the last 2 weeks that I think has been damaging our guys on the football field as far as their injuries. So I don't want to talk about this part or that part. We're watching on tape, and it seems like some of our guys are taking shots in particular areas, like people are reading press clippings and they're going after certain spots on people. So I'm not going to start talking about where their areas are, but he was hurt.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Last question for Coach. Matt?
Pretty straightforward question. Where's your confidence level in this team at this point, this juncture of the season?
My confidence is good. I know that there might be some confidence lacking in other places, but my confidence is good. I'm glad that all the frost and all the fluff is gone. And we're really looking at where we're at. And I think this is where I get excited, okay? We can either be what everyone says we are, or we can go out and prove them wrong and be something totally different. It's going to take a lot of work, because it's not like you can just flip that light switch. I mean, what you see is what we are right now. It doesn't mean we got to stay there. And I think the guys have put in 2 good days of practice, and they're ready to turn a new leaf. Hopefully we'll get to see that on Friday night. Thank you guys so much.